Welcome back to another episode of Disstrackted. You got your host, Jag, a.k.a. Santos, alongside...
I'm Gugs.
And today, we got a wild one. One we've been waiting for a long, long time.
What a crazy couple weekends in hip-hop. Couple weeks in hip-hop.
Wow.
Like to think it all started, and we've been covering it as it goes along, too. Like, when Future and Metro drop, We Don't Trust You. All of a sudden, we found out, wait, there's beef with Drake?
Yeah, everybody
And then, and not even just Metro and Future. Like, oh shit, there's a surprise Kendrick Lamar feature. Oh damn, he's just in J. Cole and Drake? And then Rick Ross is in, pick a side. Like, all these people. And then after that, the first to respond is who? J. Cole? Out of everybody? J. Cole responds and then retracts.
Yeah,
The diss.
Yeah, we all know how we feel about that one.
And now over the weekend, like, Drake, wow. Was it a leak? Was it real? Was it fake?
AI,
He drops Rick
shit.
Ross responds.
Okay. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
We'll slow it down.
Let's pull it back. Let's get to the topic on hand. The topic we've all been fucking waiting for. The big one. Drake drops the AI track, but it ends up being the real track. And the world went crazy. The world lost their mind.
It's crazy. Like, what? I know what I was doing because, again, common theme. This guy messages me. He's like, yo, there's a Drake diss. My first response, man, it ain't real. Like, in the midst of, like, this important of a moment and this beef, all this shit, like, I'm like, man, you can't let something like that leak. Like, that's AI for sure. It's not real.
Same thing. Like, I was getting messages. I was I didn't even care to like listen to it. I was just like, oh, AI.
Yeah, when shit like that happens, like, I'm like, man, I'm not listening to it. It's not even real anyways. Like, I pay it no mind.
But it ended up being fucking real for now. But I remember, like, when it came out, I was like over analyzing everything. I was like, oh, he used the word pipsqueak, or he used these other things. Like, that can't be real. That has to be AI. But I mean, fuck, like, I wasted half my day sitting there trying to overanalyze it and just not even paying attention to the actual fact that this could be a real fucking diss.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. It was just like, once, like, when I really listened to it, I was like, whoa, this is good. Like, this is not what I expected. And
like, really good. I will say it was really good. Not even like good. It was when you like, we're listening to it right now. And, like, the more you listen to it, I mean, I won't say it's back-to-back, because back-to-back was just something crazy. But it's in its own caliber.
Yeah.
Like, it has its own league. And
I'm quickly learning the words to it because I just keep listening to it. And it's just catchy. Like, the stuff he says, he knows what he's doing, man.
Clearly. Like, I'm a Drake fan. I've been a Drake fan. But I will not lie. I had him... not 100%, but maybe 50% counted out. I didn't think he could pull it off as hard as he did. I thought he would come back with something, or I thought maybe he might pull the Pusha T shit where he just sort of leaves it in the back. But fuck, when we realized it wasn't AI, game changer.
Yeah, and everybody was talking about it. Like, that's the big thing. Like, everything. Oh, what the fuck is playing in the headphones?
I pressed the wrong button.
A giant horn. I couldn't hear a damn thing.
We were. I was waiting for it to stop, and I was like, in my head, I'm like, please, just ignore it. Please ignore it. Just trying to, like, hopefully this guy doesn't get off track. But fuck, talk about distracted, man. We got distracted. That was good. It just goes to show, man, we have a good time on this shit. We enjoy ourselves, man. Like, fucking, we just let loose.
So
back to the schedule programming.
So speaking of reactions, everybody reacted to it. That's what really made me realize, like, oh shit, this is real, because, like, all the big news sites, like, celebrities, everybody's reacting. Like, Charlemagne reacted.
Dude, when I saw Charlemagne's reaction, I was like, fuck, this guy hates Drake.
Yeah, he's not really the biggest Drake
fan
per se.
Yeah, like, he's one of those, like, guys that just, I'm like, fuck, this guy's, no matter what Drake does, he's gonna hate him regardless of what happens. But even he said Drake came for it, and fucking Drake came for it, and he delivered, man, and he put Kendrick on the clock. he actually thought like, you know, Kendrick is gonna fucking. Man's over here lost his mind. That's what Drake's diss did. It made us lose our fucking mind. Man's just still thinking about it.
Yes, but yeah, no, like would Charlamagne even give Drake props? Like, and I wouldn't say he never does, but still, like, but he's openly like such a huge Kendrick fan. He always talks about Kendrick's like the greatest rapper. He's released like some of the most important songs in history, so he's that big of a fan. And to see Charlamagne basically say, "Hey, Kendrick, you're on the clock," right? Like Drake did his thing. SZA was hilarious because she got mentioned.
She posted that little thing
she
about
posted
like
that meme. It was like, why y'all talking about me?
Yeah. That was funny. Metro, he did that the big 3 picture, right? I think.
Yeah, it was Weeknd, Future, and himself. Yeah, he just posted that.
Meek Mill. I didn't see Meek's, but you saw Meek's, right?
Yeah, Meek Mill just tweeted. He said something like, "Oh, it's up," right? And which is kind of strange.
It's crazy. Seeing him.
We'll touch on that.
Yeah, we'll get to that
because yeah, the Weeknd obviously posted. He posted like eating popcorn meme. I mean, not really much. They're 50, to enjoy the show, not finding it funny, whatever you want to interpret it as.
50 said something too, I think, right?
Yeah, 50 was like, "Oh,
well, he had to. I mean, he got mentioned in the diss.
Because Drake mentions 50 in the song, right? He's like, "You got me talking like I'm 50."
Yeah, and, so he had to respond.
Yeah, but
it was funny. He brought up the whole light skin thing again.
Yeah. He's like, y'all got smoked by a light skinned dude, and so he's basically saying everyone else, like everyone's on the clock, right? Like Drake really did his thing, and then, Rick Ross not only reacted, he responded.
He overreacted.
Immediately.
He fucking reacted. This guy, man. He just. Listen, man, Rose, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Great artist as an entire, but what the fuck are you doing now, man? Like, you need to put your head down and just fucking. You release a diss track, cool. I'm with it. I don't mind. You know, it's a good track overall. Crazy beat. Like we were talking earlier, if he actually released shit like this on the regular, I would like his shit more.
Yeah, it sounds good. Like all of it is. That's the Rose I want to hear.
Yeah.
But just not right now on this topic.
And then, like, what are you fucking doing talking about BBL Drizzy and shit? Like, bro, you're a grown man. Who gives a fuck if this guy did some shit to his nose? I don't give a fuck. I don't know if it impacts you. It doesn't impact him. It doesn't impact anyone else. So, the fuck are you tripping on, man?
But that's like, so there's a couple of things I find strange about the whole Rick Ross thing is like, okay, you're coming at him for what? For a nose job? Like, really? Like that? Yeah. You got beef with him, or like you're trying to shame him over it? Like
he's trying to say that shit about like, oh, Drake sent feds to French's house.
He was saying something, yeah, like the cease and desist letter he sent to.
But at the end of the day, like. Listen, French is not a dumb guy, man. Like I checked the IG. I checked it. He's still following Drake. He's still following all the OVO camp. He's not stupid. He knows he can't make an enemy of Drake. Man, Drake has given the guy some of his biggest fucking songs besides Sway Lee.
Yeah, honestly, they have a crazy history. Like Aston Martin music, Free Spirit, I'm on One. They're on so many bangers together. Money in the Grave.
So many, but yeah.
Another thing I find strange about the whole Rick Ross thing, like there's so many things wrong about it. It's like, if you felt this way, you're going to call him white boy, or you want to hang with us, all this stuff. Like,
yeah.
Why do you feel like this about him now, not before? And even then, like, going back to the Meek thing, it's like, when Meek had beef with Drake, you stayed out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, but now you're all the way in.
Exactly.
Like, you're riding so hard.
It makes no fucking sense to me.
But you wouldn't ride that hard for your own artist? Like, come on. Like, Meek's MMG. Like, there's so many things wrong about that. And on top of that is, like, when he had beef with Birdman over Lil Wayne, because he loves Lil Wayne that much, well, this is Lil Wayne's artist.
Well, he was even saying now, he's like, oh, Wayne gave you the juice. You're what you are only because of Wayne. My guy, you are what you are because of fucking Drake. Drake gave you some of your biggest hits, bro. Stay Scheming, like all this, like
yeah, that's another
Aston Martin music, like I'm on one, bro. Like
Lemon Pepper.
Yeah, like so I watched some snaps from Rose after the diss track, and this guy's still so like. I get you're trying to make fun of the guy, but you're on stage performing right after the diss track. And you can say whatever the fuck you want, but you're still using some of those biggest songs. You're using I'm On One. You're using Stay Schemin'. You can say whatever you want, but if you have a fucking real issue with this guy, you wouldn't even play those songs. You would not even fucking play them out of the principle of like, yo, fuck Drake. I ain't playing this shit. I don't care. But you can't, because all your fucking biggest hits, like he had hits before Drake, don't get me wrong. He had like, Every Day I'm Hustling and all that shit. But Drake gave you all your modern day hits. He made you what you are now.
But then why even, like, if you felt this strongly about Drake, why wait so long
100%.
until when everybody's dissing him? Now you're trying to be the front runner in this whole thing, like, suddenly.
Well, I have noticed, though, every time Ross posts Drake and the disses and all that shit, he'll always tag his car show alongside with it. So when people are screenshotting the diss or whatever, it'll be like Rick Ross car show, and then at the top it'll be like, oh, BBL Drizzy, or like white skin Drizzy, or whatever you want to call it. And like he's calling Drake racist and all that shit. Like, my guy, you're reaching like heavy, bro. Like, what are you fucking thinking? Fuck, like. And it's disappointing to see Ross do it out of all the people, because I fuck with Ross, man.
Yeah, but that's the funny part too, is like he's the oldest guy out of this whole beef, and he's calling people names.
Straight up, he's like that guy that you invited to the party, but you didn't invite to the after party, but he found out the address and he still fucking shows up. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, like I'm supposed to be here. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be. Nah, dog, you came to the real party. You were good. You gave us a verse, but that's about it. Let's part ways. But now he's all like, posting all this shit, acting like, yo, you guys see what I did? Like, and everybody's just like, bro, we don't give a fuck, man. Like, you gave us your verse and fuck off now, man. Like, let us do us. Metro's not responding that way. Like, fucking all these other features,
none of these guys,
because they know too, if they do it, they look stupid. You're taking the bullets out of your own fucking gun because you just look stupid right now doing this shit.
It seems like Ross is trying real hard to just be relevant in this conversation.
Yeah.
But really, it just started from like Metro and Future having beef with Drake, and then it became a big three thing. Like, it was never a Rick Ross thing.
And he'll never be in the big three, so dog, just leave it to the big three.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, he was never even in the conversation at any point to be in the big three, so that's kind of like.
And the fact that you unfollowed this guy over French, bro, French is not even relevant in any of this shit. Like, French wasn't even a part of the conversation. So why you chose now out of all the fucking times?
But that's another thing. He's using French's name, and it's like, but if French is still, well, we don't know. But I mean, if French is still following Drake and everything seems like if French is cool with it, then why are you so upset?
It's career suicide for French to go against Drake right now, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sitting here saying French isn't talented. French is a super dope artist, but French is really getting a lot of his hits. When you go back and like, a lot of that shit's with fucking Drake, man. It is what it is. Let's call it what we call it. It just, I don't know. It's a fucking strange time. Ross really fucked up, and I think that's it for that one, man. Like, it's hard to. My feelings are clearly.
Yeah, we probably spent more time on Rick Ross than Drake even will, right?
Ross shouldn't have had this much time in this episode, but it's the last time I talk about Rick Ross until he does something else that's pretty stupid. But let's move on to the real topic. Back to Drake's.
That was way too distracted on just Rick Ross alone.
That's how strongly I feel about that bullshit. That's how strongly I feel. But anyways,
so going to bars. Some of the bars, like breaking down the diss a little bit, but like there's so much. It's crazy to think that Drake just went at everybody all at once. Like, people kind of was thinking like, oh, is he gonna go at Future? Is he gonna release a diss track towards Kendrick? He went at everybody. Well, everybody all at once.
He posted on his IG that Kill Bill picture where Uma Thurman's facing off against all those guys. And Uma Thurman fucking...
Yeah, and she reacted to that too.
Reacted to that. So it's like, that's another reaction we forgot to actually mention earlier. But she reacted.
Yeah, and Uma Thurman actually. Yeah, so, that's crazy.
That's the other thing I will say, though. Drake can drop a diss track, make it popular to where even Hollywood actors and actresses are talking about it, but ain't nobody talking about Future dissing Drake or Kendrick dissing Drake. Ain't no celebrity white actresses and shit talking about it.
But even like, you're just going back to the bars though, like the very first line though, he addresses Future. Given that
right off the bat,
Future and Metro dropped a whole damn album dedicated towards like his title, "We Don't Trust You." So it's like I mean, I know it's like a standalone project in itself, but I mean, it kind of gives off the title like, hey, it's directed towards Drake.
Yeah.
You directed a whole project named towards Drake.
Well, then the second
all-
one, we
all
still
Drake
don't
did-
trust you. So it's
Yeah,
like,
and still, so all Drake did was drop one track addressing everybody. The first line in it, he goes, "I could be nobody's number one fan. Your first number one, I had to put it in your hand." So he's talking about Future, right?
the thing is, Drake was spitting facts.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even like, oh, Drake's embellishing some shit. Like, Drake is literally going through his shit. He's literally saying, like, yo, dog, I made you, I gave you this, I gave you that.
Yeah.
Like, you are what you are.
Because
And
he
it-
did Wait For You with Future and Thames, and then
Thames,
he
yeah.
also had the Way Too Sexy
Yeah.
with Thames. But then Future also, I think he went number one for Like That. But the
Yeah.
thing is, Like That is about Drake too.
At the end of the day, take Kendrick out of that, I guarantee it wouldn't have been a number one record.
Yeah,
It
like
just-
I
it
still
wouldn't
like
have
it
been.
as a standalone song. It's good, but yeah, would it be number one? I think it's
doubt-
number one
highly
because of
doubt
the
it.
shock value. Because he's done a song with Kendrick before. He was on the Mask Off remix.
Yeah.
Mask Off never went number one. The remix
Well,
never
that's
went
the
number
thing.
one.
It was a shock value. Everybody shared it.
Yeah.
Everybody sent it like, oh fuck, Drake, like he's dissing
And
Drake,
and
he's
that's
dissing
not
Drake.
even me like trying to champion Drake or be,
Yeah,
you know,
we're-
like a hater of Future or Kendrick because I love
We're
them
not,
both, right?
Yeah,
So
we're not like pro 100% Drake in this, and like,
that's just
oh,
those are just facts.
this
The
is just
numbers
what's
are the
happening
numbers.
right now in front of us. Like I still think We Don't Trust You is a dope album.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, me
I
too.
still think Future's a dope artist. I think Metro is one of the greatest producers we've ever got the chance to listen to. So, by any means, we are not sitting here saying Drake is the shit and fuck everybody else.
It's just a bad look when you're trying to be like, oh, we don't, you know, you're trying to talk shit about someone, but all your number ones come from that person. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, where's your solo? I mean, but given that, with that said, Future has number one albums without Drake too. So
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, the artists themselves are dope. Like, don't get us wrong by any means. But
anyways, some of the other bars though.
So for me, like being a producer, I think the funniest one was for Metro. Like, go back to making drums. I thought, like, see, that's what I think I like the most about this diss track is it's sort of like back to back in the sense of like it's not just a diss in that sense. It's funny. Like, you listen to it. Drake today posted on his IG story the Nick Cannon movie Drumline with Metro's face on Nick Cannon.
That was
like,
so
doing
funny.
the addition. You know what I mean? Like,
because it's like, what can Metro really say? He can't. He's a producer.
you gotta take
right?
you gotta take it on the chin and be like, shit, I got a hit, man.
That
Like,
was like, there were a few lines like when I first listened to it, I heard and I chuckled, right? One of them was the Kendrick one, right? He said, you can't be a big stepper wearing size 7 men's on. And like another one was that Metro one. Right? Where he's like, where he's like, what the fuck is this, a 20v1?
Yeah,
Then that whole part, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
when
yeah.
he says,
That's the thing, like, the
Metro,
whole-
shut your whole ass up and play some drums. He called Metro a hoe. Like, he just gives him one bar, and that's what the whole internet's talking about.
One
right?
bar
Yeah.
out of the whole song, and he shook Metro's world on that.
Yeah, that was
Because
crazy.
what is he gonna do? Is he really gonna go back and make another beat for somebody else to rap on? Like, you can't do shit. Go
Yeah.
back and make your fucking drums.
The other one, the one where he's like SZA got you wiped down. That made me laugh too.
To Travis. So I guess since he said that, I mean, some people I feel like took it as he's dissing Travis in a way. I don't get it.
I don't see that.
But I think it's an
Because
it's
he
an ode to
says,
Travis.
well, I mean, he's obviously making fun of Kendrick when he's like SZA, who's on TDE anyways.
Yeah.
He's like, SZA, he's basically saying you're not even the best artist on your label. SZA's bigger than you. But then he mentions like Travis got you wiped down, Savage got you wiped down.
Yeah, and it's like he's not.
So
dissing
he's obviously
Savage.
saying he's bigging them up. He's
Yeah.
saying like these artists are bigger than you in his opinion. He's obviously dissing them, right? But then like
that label bar was sick. Like your label boy, you in the scope right now, and you're gonna feel the aftermath of what I write down. Like the double entendres, like the interscope, in the scope, aftermath, Dr. Dre's label aftermath, like. This guy, like, so people counted him out, and he also has bars and fucking.
he comes with a lot, man. Like,
he has his own shit. I think people forget, like, you know, what was the song that me and you really fuck with? 5 a.m. in
5 a.m. in
5 a.m. in
Toronto.
Toronto.
Right? Yeah, that's like one of my favorite Drake.
right?
That is my favorite Drake song actually.
That's what I mean. So it's like, I think people tend to forget that this guy actually came up
he goes
spitting
in,
bars,
yeah.
man. Like
And he has like a bunch of double entendres. Like he can really rap when he wants to. What was the other line? He's like, Drizzy chip in there.
yeah,
Drizzy chip in there.
Chanel.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so like that's
because even people were like, I didn't clue into it. It's like the Chip and Dale cartoon when Chip and Dale they always outsmart Pluto in the cartoon. Pluto's future, right? So,
yeah.
And it just sounds so smooth when he says it too, right?
The prince to a king.
Yeah.
That line is crazy. Like I think that might have gone over some people's head, but like that's a dope line.
That was all like what is it? What the fuck is this 20v1?
Yeah.
What's that?
What's a prince to a king? He's a son.
Yeah.
That's like,
and
when
then
you
he
break
says,
that down, that's
you know, I get more love in the city that you're from. Then he says, man, just shut your
yeah,
whole
yeah.
ass up and make some drop.
It makes me. The love in the city line. I will say though, I do think that Kendrick might get. Maybe I don't know because Kendrick's from Compton, so is he really overtaking him?
Yeah,
that
I get
much?
that, but I took it as like he's talking about Atlanta. But even then,
Maybe.
but who knows, man? Drake gets love everywhere, but he's also just talking his shit too, right? He's just that's what you're gonna say in a diss track, right?
Yeah.
And then he also talks about like he disses XO too. He disses Weekend's manager, Cash, right?
Yeah. See, like the thing is, like it's hard to do fact checking on some of these things. But
we'll never know.
I mean, I don't think he's just gonna put it out there knowing that somebody reviewed it and it just calls him out. There must be something that he knows about somebody or something along the way where he's calling it out.
He's like, I don't remember word for it, but he says he's like, you're not even from the city, right? So I mean, XO is like that's Weekend. That's obviously the manager Cash he calls out. That's Nav too.
Yeah,
because Nav picked a side.
Yeah, Nav was actually doing a Coachella set today.
Yeah, Nav was like,
he brought out Metro.
Yeah, with
and
Metro.
they played like that. And
and they played like that.
Yeah, so it's like Nav is clearly on his side. Which is I fuck with that too. Like that's good on him. He's being true to his side, his label, right?
Yeah, that's cool. Like, I mean, it is what it is, right? He picked a side. He's stuck there, but now. Whatever he stuck with Metro. He's like, yeah, Metro's. What was that? Metro even said he's like, oh, this is my brother Nab or whatever on stage and everything. Yeah, but whatever, they got a relationship. They do their thing. That's just it is what it is, right?
That Whitney line might get into some shit.
Yeah. So
the last time he named, if he is name dropping Kendrick's wife, the last time he named somebody's wife was Pusha T's wife. And we all saw what happened with that Pusha T diss. That shit, Drake admits he took the L. He calls it a kink in his armor. I'll move on. I'll take that L.
Yeah, because he says, it's like, I'll be with some bodyguards like Whitney.
Yeah.
Then he says, Top State dropping bitch ass down. Like, so people are speculating that. Because, I mean, like, again, another, like, double entendre type thing where I mean, Whitney Houston, the bodyguard. Okay, that's
what I thought
that's
it
the
was.
most evident. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Like he's basically saying like I'm coming to your city, I'll be with some bodyguards. But people are saying that Kendrick Lamar's wife, her name is Whitney. So he's kind of throwing more bait out there and just like playing mental warfare again.
Yeah.
And then there's also a rumor that, I mean, how's anyone going to verify this as of now? But people are saying that Kendrick Lamar's wife cheated on him with his bodyguard.
Was it that, or was it Kendrick cheated on her with somebody else? I wasn't sure what the full-on story was. I saw two different stories, and I couldn't figure out. But it feels like it would make more sense that she cheated on Kendrick with the bodyguard. I mean, that's really, that's what makes most sense.
Yeah. So I mean, again, a lot remains to be seen, and it feels like Drake was kind of just warming up. Like he was just kind of dropping a lot of surface level shit, nothing too deep. Because then at the end, he even says, he's like, don't wake the demon up, right?
But it's crazy though. Like, is it, he might say that. And I think everybody's opinion is different on what they think a warm-up might be. Now, I think he came for it. He brought some crazy shit. I also think Kendrick came for it. Like, this is in no way saying Kendrick's diss was shitty. Like, it was a solid fucking diss. But he might think his second disc might be better than the first. I don't know if we all will, because I know with Duppy freestyle and all that shit, some people were split decision on some of that stuff. So I don't know. Like maybe I personally think I would let it rest for now and just see what happens for a while. Like I definitely wouldn't address Ross. I think that's sort of just Ross is taking care of himself. I think Future's best course is not to say anything. Metro, he'll make some more drums, I guess. Like what's he really gonna do? Weekend, what do you think you think Weekend will do something back with that?
Weekend's like one of the biggest pop stars in the world at the end of the day.
Yeah, like I think he got
the memes and all this stuff on the internet was wild though. Like I spent like a whole day on Twitter and I never do that. Like people were like, "Is Weekend gonna sing this Drake again?"
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that one too. But like, fuck, it was catchy though. When they did it the
but
first
there was
time.
so many like there was ones like Drake is Thanos.
Yeah.
Or, like the Civil War memes. Obviously the Kill Bill one. Like
The Kill Bill one is the sickest one.
There's so many funny memes, man. Like
It's
the one of the guy doing push-ups.
Yeah, but like, so even that other one, like the dropping give me 50, like that line itself is dope because he's having to give Anthony, his old manager, 50 off the top, like, and that's the other thing. I think a lot of these guys can't flaunt the fact that they have all this money because yes, they might get paid, but Drake gets paid.
Yeah, he even says he's like if we're talking numbers, then you're not fucking catching up, right?
Yeah, like he signed a deal.
You can't talk money with Drake, but then again, hold on. Remember when Pusha T, when he dropped the disc, he's like, you signed to one, signed to another, and that's bad luck. He's basically saying that, oh, you're signed to Lil Wayne, who's signed to Birdman. He's claiming that Drake doesn't make very much splits. But then again, like, man, look at what Drake's worth. Like, we know how much money.
But since then, he signed what is it, $500 million contract with Universal, and he owns all his own masters still.
Dude,
so
Drake
that's
is like
owning masters and then getting paid that much.
Nicki Minaj was speculating before. She's like, "Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if Drake's a billionaire by now."
He probably already is, man. Because like I know a lot of these guys, even Navin should have said it. Like the stuff you see online about net worth and shit isn't. That's an estimate. You don't know what I got in my bank account. You don't really know what I'm invested into. All my shit, like
And net worth is also like what your estimated worth.
Exactly.
It was like a big thing with like Diddy. Even though it's taboo to say his name, but like a lot of his net worth was from Ciroc, right? Like he made X amount a year from Ciroc, but it's like because his ownership in it, what would it be worth if he were to sell it? They include that in your net worth, right?
Yeah, that is true. That's what I mean. So
it doesn't
it's hard
mean he has that much
Plus,
sitting in his bank or nothing like that.
Like I think online shows Drake only worth like a few $100 million or something like that. But like his house in Toronto is worth like 150, 200 mil. Like if you're only worth a few $100 million,
it's worth that. But who the fuck's gonna pay?
But that's what I mean though. Like, but if you're worth only like 300-400 million, you're not gonna build a 150, $200 million house.
Oh yeah.
Have another house in like LA. Have another house in Houston. Have like all these cars and shit. Like I mean, at that point, it clearly shows he's got more than enough money to be able to do all this shit and still brag about it.
Well. So obviously like this disc, like him dropping it went really well. Like the whole I don't even think he has to drop the mastered version, the real thing anymore. Because
I want it because I want it on Spotify.
I wanted to. But it's just like I feel like the shock and all that shit's gone. Like if he drops it now, I don't know if anything's gonna come with it.
Well, for him, pocket wise, he gains streams. Because right now, if you go on YouTube, every single version of it, they're getting millions of streams, man.
Yeah,
and then they get taken down.
Like,
so clearly, they're not. They'll take the copyright strike. But at the end of the day, they just grew their channel. Now imagine if he would get like I 100% would add that to my regular Spotify list.
But isn't that ironic? Because J. Cole really did take his disc off streaming. It's no longer on Spotify. 7-minute drill.
Actually did it. I remember I would check like every couple of days. I'd be like, oh, it's still on there, still on there. Maybe he just baited people to listen to him more before.
And it debuted number 7, so like it did numbers. It did good, but he stuck to his word. He said, nah, I'm taking off. But do you think that J. Cole dropping and I guess retracting his disc, do you think it helped Drake's case? Or did it make it harder? Like, what's your opinion on that?
When I first saw it, the clip of him apologizing, I was like, oh fuck! Like they had one in their arsenal. They shot the shot. It took off. It worked. Maybe Drake will come. He'll fucking throw some crazy shit. They built up this sort of like rep. Okay, cool. And then he apologized, and I'm like, fuck. Like, is Drake gonna be able to handle the weight of all this shit? Because now J. Cole's is gone. And J. Cole's diss was great. Don't get me wrong. I personally fuck with it. I know a lot of people were sort of split on it. Like, it's not as good, but I thought it was a great response. And I counted Drake out. I'm not gonna lie. I counted him out a little bit. I was on the side of like fucking K. Dot has got him. And then this came out. And then my first thought was, this is AI. My second thought was, if this is AI, somebody better sign the fucking person who made this diss, because these are some fucking bars for real. And then when I found out it's real, I'm like, holy shit, Drake actually pulled it off. Like, to be number ones in everybody's face or eyes or whatever you want to call it in their minds with like Charlemagne and these kind of guys, I didn't think Drake had it in him. I thought he couldn't do it, but he fucking did it, man. He
yeah, I think it's really crazy. He really won everyone over. Like, I thought that upon J. Cole pulling his diss, it just kind of looked like, oh shit, no one's on Drake's side. Drake has no chance. Like,
yeah,
he's gonna get bullied. Like,
yeah,
it's over.
It's
you
done.
Can't, like, I never really, like, you never count out Drake. You just don't. But I'm gonna say that the odds were stacked against him, and then when he dropped, all of a sudden everybody's like, oh shit, like, he did it again. Like, he roasted
people didn't
everybody.
think he had it.
Yeah, he really came out rapping. Like, it was just, and it's a leak. It's not even mastered. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I'm fucking excited, man. Like, he's if this is a warm up, man. Like, I think he took round one. He's got round one, and I'm excited to see how many rounds it can go. Makes me think, what does this guy really have on Kendrick to be able to openly be like, yo, I got more, man. Like, don't make me say it, but I got more on you.
Who knows? He says that. I mean, again, it's all mental warfare, right? Who knows if he really does or doesn't? But
well, he's good at mental warfare, and he's also good at memes and all shit. And like, he mentioned Kai Cenat, so of course now Kai Cenat's gonna go out and fucking stream it to like,
yeah, that's
all
really
his
smart.
people.
Like, he mentioned
Like,
streamers and stuff, right?
It's like Kanye said it. Like, Drake doesn't just diss you outright. He plays chess. He's a petty king.
Yeah,
he does his shit.
Yeah, because then Kai goes and drops a video like, "Oh, Drake mentioned me in the diss," and now all of a sudden, all of his followers are checking it out too. So it's just one of those things, right?
The hardest way that diss went out is the fact that he said that line about you had a song for 4 years. Like, he's saying it to Kendrick. You had a song for 4 years. Drop that shit and shut your mouth. That's a hard ass line, because now at the end of the day, that's how you end it. And what the fuck's Kendrick gonna do? Either Kendrick's new diss track did drop, but it turned out being AI.
Yeah, it turns out, on Monday night there was a track surface, but everyone's saying it's fake. It's AI. Kendrick's Cam said it's AI too. So
yeah. Fuck, man. There's a lot of fighting, a lot of battles, wars, and shit going on right now, man. Speaking about fighting, though, did you see UFC?
yeah,
300.
I did actually. Yeah, UFC 300.
That was fucking crazy. Like, I've fallen sort of out of love with UFC, and I've stepped back because I feel like the best era was, Chuck Liddell and all these guys, Silva and all that shit. But I saw it. Like, I was actually working and I couldn't watch it. But when I did get to see the replays, holy
It was crazy.
fuck.
Everyone was hyping it because they're saying Dana White, instead of paying the 50K bonuses out to fighters for like fight of the night, whatever, he's paying 300K because it's UFC 300.
Well, did you see how that went down though? Like, one of the reporters said like, oh, you should like pay him like wait like 3 times or 4 times or whatever. Like, and he's like, I will, but I have a feeling that shit might have been staged, like, just to get
yeah, I wouldn't be
people
surprised.
to get riled on that shit. But that fight, Holloway,
Yeah.
1 second left. I heard he actually had that fight in the bag. I didn't see the rest of the fight.
Yeah, he did. He was gonna win. He was gonna win the fight.
Think about it. You're at the end, and I've been saying this for a long time, that I feel like UFC fighters have become safe. They have become very safe. They don't take chances. They're scared to get as hurt. Like, back in the day, Savage and all these guys, they didn't give a fuck, man. They rumbled. Like, it was down. Like, just let's keep fucking brawling. Injuries, none of that shit mattered. But this guy, few seconds to go, fucking let's
Literally
go.
1 second left.
go.
KO. Like,
Clean.
Yeah.
Clean, just like a pop.
that's wild. They
dropped
just started
him.
swinging with a couple seconds left. Like Holloway would have won anyways, but damn, like, that was just like Joe Rogan called. He called it live. He's like, that's the greatest KO in UFC history. He might be exaggerating.
But I
don't
think if
it's
you
the
add in
greatest
the
KO.
whole 1 second left and all that shit, like, that was
It
like a movie
was
finish.
Epic though. It was
Movie
definitely
finish.
epic. Yeah.
That's the kind of shit you see only in movies. Like, you got a second to go. But I mean, it would have been even better if he was losing the fight, and then in 1 second to go he drops him.
But that's pretty wild to think, because he ended up getting 2 bonuses, right? He got performance of the night and I think knockout of the night. So to think like he won 600K.
But
and normally that would be like 50K. You would have been 100K. Like, that's a lot of money. Like,
but it goes to show though, these guys should be getting way more money.
Oh yeah, like
right?
If you can afford to pay him 300K like this time, like why can't you just pay him 300K every time? Like, if you're really gonna be like, oh, this produces better fights, we're gonna really incentivize them. Is that a word?
Incentivize.
Is
incentivize?
I was like, am I saying it right?
Fuck,
But anyways, incentivize.
Yeah, I think it's incentivize.
Like it's incentivize these motherfuckers. Like, give them that money all the time. Then
straight up, I don't know, man. It's wild.
Yeah, it should be like that. But also the main event, you see that one too?
Alex Pereira. Alex, what's his name?
Yeah, Pereira.
Yeah. That was sick when he got like that nut shot. Fuck, like he literally told Herb Dean just hold off, and he's like, and he just fucking swings, knocks him out, and I'm like, this guy's a G, man. Like, look at him. Yeah, I was like, holy shit, this guy's a G.
Yeah, he memed him at the end too. Yeah, he knocked out Jamal Hill. That was wild.
Yeah, fuck.
He's a killer. He's a stone cold killer.
It's crazy. Yeah, man. So that gets me excited to keep watching UFC now. Like, I think we're onto something.
Yeah, I can't wait, because UFC 303, Conor McGregor comes back. So it's been a while. It's been a minute.
Yeah, whiskey sales are gonna go through the roof for that one, man. But that about wraps up our episode. I think we covered some solid shit. I think it's been a exciting time for hip hop. It's been I don't know, man. Like, hip hop's been.
I know, really. Like, everything we recapped in the beginning, like all the stuff that's been happening the last like 3-4 weeks. It's a lot of material. We're not used to seeing this much back and forth, this much beef, this much. Even if it is just beef on wax or whatever, but it's exciting, man.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Like, I feel like we've been talking about it forever, but it's like it's one of those things that every week it's like a sequel.
It's just dominating the news.
Yeah. And until this shit doesn't go away, I don't think anyone else is gonna be relevant right now. They got a chokehold on the game.
It is what it is.
Yeah, that's it, man. But it's amazing for you guys to keep tuning in. Please like, subscribe, share, all that shit. Comment, let us know what else you want us to talk about. Episode 10, we hit that milestone, so it's good to see that we're at that mark. And fuck, that's a wrap. We're out. Have a good one. See you next time.